All right. We are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. That's great. Let's get started. We've been doing this for a few weeks now, but I think one of the things that I wanted to bring up to everybody's attention is that we are going to start a new cohort in March. I guess more you do it, more you realize like how more effectively can you do it because people are busy, and that's what this cohort is made for, right? Busy people that are saying, I don't have time for AI, I don't have time to go to school, I'm not going to do none of that. So this is my way of saying like, okay, you can be busy, but you're not that busy to spend 45 minutes to figure out what happened in the AI space last week and how that will impact what it is that you do. Let's get started with the newsletter because the newsletter, this one was really difficult to write because I could have went down the pawn the AI sort of conversation, the defensive AI conversation, but I didn't because I don't want to convolute this digital twin conversation because digital twin is a wide topic that people can get lost in because AI is a wide topic too. So now if you get too many topics and everybody's getting confused, not a really what we need to do with the non-techies. So non-techies really have to keep up with this information. So what I want to do is motivate them to come back over and over as a non-techie to say, I don't do this all day long. So I really need just snips and bits of information. I don't need to know whole story. And I definitely don't want to get confused between defensive AI and digital twin and business impact analysis because that's why we have different cohorts for that. So business impact analysis, we'll keep that separate. We will keep it for this one for digital twin specifically. But if you're not in the digital twin cohort, I think you should look into this one because this is something that's going to be interesting to you as well. All right. So I wrote this one and I thought, let's do some spoiler, but no, I didn't really do much of a spoiling here. But, this is something that will be some of those spoilers, so don't get mad at me. But I try to keep it as little spoiling as possible. Um, so as you can imagine, in the digital twin space, everybody doesn't know it, but everybody who wants it, they don't know how to get started with it. And this movie portrays exactly the difficulty of how you can have a broad expectation of a digital twin and how you can take a small strand of it and say, yeah, you know what, we'll make this work because that's what we really need to get started with. And that's the methodology in agile and agile and Scrum world is called MVPs, right? Most valuable products. So you have this small, tiny product that you can start with and then work your way up, right? Work your way up to say, um, if we start here, we can end up here, right? We can end up with this sort of database. Data sets, right? The data sets is what we are after in digital twin space. This was really fun to write because really if you start digging, you can get more out of it. So let's say, for example, you want to do simulation like the movie does. That's fine. Simulation is a great way to do predictive analytics, find early insights, and find where the money's at, right? How to bring this money in. And manufacturing world is about, where are the supplies, right? How do we get the supplies into the manufacturing shop floor so we can manufacture things? But in the finance world, you can assume that if you're doing anti-money laundering, now you want to run a simulation of, say, tier five individuals. This tier five individuals, where are their money coming from and how are their money being impacted and so on and so forth. Um, as you're going through this digital twin conversation, um, think of it from, if you have the data set already, what data set you don't have right now, right? So data acquisition. Data acquisition will be something challenging. So if you're doing the business impact analysis cohort, this is something that will be similar to you, is that you have to have a cost associated with the data acquisition. Most companies will not do data acquisition because that's not on their budget. So you have other ways to do data acquisition. And some of them data acquisitions are called synthetic data. But synthetic data has a use point up to a certain point. So if the synthetic data that you have and you push that into your digital twin, that digital twin simulation will change. And now you can say, here's the value of that synthetic data based on the simulation. So now you can go up to the board and say, I need some funding because this synthetic data has shown me exactly what I need to see. But this synthetic data has a problem called data cannibalism. It's like the snake eating its own tail. Synthetic data are effective up to a certain point, but after a while, it does start deteriorating. And that has been proven over time with research that synthetic data is great. Medical industry uses it, a lot of other industry uses it, but it's just not enough to continuously have a CI/CD or continuous exploration, CE part of it, happen on your life cycle, right? So you have to be really careful. The level of data that you want to collect, you want to collect them from the hardware that you already have available. Again, that's what keeps the cost down. So if you have IoT devices that you already have in your inventory, tap into that. If you already have IoT devices that are capable of collecting those data, but not in batch. A batch end up actually costing more because you have to do the data at rest sort of thing, right? And store it and then put the data into motion and extracting it. If you're in a cloud space, that's a whole lot of work. So you want to do it in real time. So that way your MVP, the most valuable part of it, sorry, most valuable. I said that's MVPs from basketball. MVP is most viable. Sorry, that's the Agile Scrum MVP, most viable. And you want to do it in real time, so that way that MVP makes sense, and then you can do business impact analysis and do the cost justification. Let me see. I want to kind of give you the time to read through this. And as you read through it, I want you to, start formulating what it is that you want to articulate on our Friday Zoom call. So I'll see you guys there. But I do want to give you a few updates on what's going on in the AI space. Again, look up Claudebot, which is wrecking the internet right now because there's so many different reactions right now. But from my perspective, it's a hazard that people will find out too late. CLAWD bot, which has changed its name since then because it doesn't want to be associated with Claude, or Claude had a problem with being associated with Claude. So look that up, CLAWD bot. It's going to be a nightmare for security professionals, and it's going to be a nightmare for the corporate, especially ones that are doing shadow AI. Corporations that are dealing with shadow AI, if they haven't tapped into shadow AI policies yet, this is the time because ChatGPT is fun and game, but Claudebot and shadow AI and ChatGPT will look like a child's play compared to, yeah, like this is a nightmare. This is not going to end up good. This is really bad because yeah, it's fine. People are buying little Mac Minis to run their cloud bots on, or they're running on our different computers, but that's personal stuff. That's your internal things that you can manage. But if there's a shadow AI and the companies are not following up with their employees to tell them about CloudBot and keeping them away from it and the corporate data away from it, it's going to be a lot of nightmare. Yeah, yeah. So if you want to look up some of this stuff that's happening with OpenAI and New York Times, I think you should follow up on that because if you want to understand Claudebot and OpenAI and New York Times lawsuit, you will see some of the similarities. Say, for example, the memories that doesn't get lost because we're stored. So it's not being deleted. If it's not being deleted, it's holding on to all sorts of information. So one of the things about Cloudbot you will see is that you do not turn off your computer. You leave it on, right? So the memory doesn't get lost. There's many ways to navigate around that, but at the end of the day, we're talking about lots of memories being collected and being reutilized. And yeah, that's a hacker's paradise, right? Hackers are really going to look for where the data is being stored and how much they can use of that data that's being stored and how fresh those data are. So if it has a good pattern in it, that's a paradise of hackers, information that they want. Claudebot does have a good security posture use cases. So even as a security guy, I think Claudebot would be a great security tool. So it's kind of killing the poison with a poison. Claudebot will definitely be a great honeypot. It can do a whole lot of things that maybe companies like Microsoft has been doing. But if you want to test it out individually, you can do that as well. I think it's a security tool that you can actually do a reverse on, rather than being a big victim of it. So I think that's all I had. It's been like 10 minutes now. I'm not going to take too much of your time. But this Monday, I'm going to invite you to come to our mock mastermind session that we're going to do. We're going to do a dry run of a mastermind. We don't record our masterminds for very specific and obvious reasons, but we are going to record this one with our friends, right? The friends that are non-techies, and they have said they will make time and join us. So we will go ahead and record one for 45 minutes or so. So if you are interested in being a live audience, let us know, and then I'll send you a StreamYard link, and you can listen in on the backyard and throw your comments in as we are discussing and doing our dry mock mastermind session. Okay. Thank you all so much. Happy Friday and have a good weekend. Ciao. Talk to you soon.